Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and a new background deserves a brand new tier list. So let's jump right into the new tier list. We're going to add in all of the new uniformed characters, in addition to the one new character we got this time around, Spectrum. And the only one that I haven't taken out of the list and I've sort of left in there to show you where they were to begin with, because all the other characters were basically kind of useless before they got their new uniform, is Captain Marvel. So everybody else, Blue Marvel, Quasar, America Chavez, they were all pretty bad. I mean, Winter Soldier was probably the second best character. Keep in mind, we're doing the entire 7.2 updates. We're doing 7.2 and 7.2.5, which means we will be covering Falcon, Zemo, and Winter Soldier. So we have a ton of stuff to get to. Let's dive in with a quick little PSA. These are just my own tier lists. You're more than welcome to, and you definitely can in this game a lot more than other games, and more than almost any other game. You can build almost whoever you want. If you build any one of these first four categories, they can do 90 to 95% of the content in the game for you. Now, it may be more difficult. You may run into more challenges, but you can definitely do it. You don't have to stick to the meta. However, it's really fun, so yeah, just take it for what it is. Don't get too stressed out if your favorite character isn't top of the pops. And with that being said, let's jump right in. So I actually want to highlight the characters from the first part of the update: Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Zemo, because they all got pretty decent, pretty big makeovers. Zemo getting the least makeover, but still not bad. So for Zemo, I'm actually going to put him at the top of mid utility for now. So that to me is an indication that he still has some use. He actually has one of the best villain leadership. He actually has the best villain leadership in the game, and one of the best leaderships in the game. It would just need more villains to be more valuable, but it's very good. Very high attack stat, in addition to ignore dodge, is just extremely useful. Himself as a standalone character did not get much better, but he's still as good as a lot of the characters around him for the content that you're going to use them in, World Boss Ultimate and Shadowland type situations, right? You're not bringing these characters, and you can't bring these characters, or you won't, like Spider-Man. You're not going to bring him into World Boss Legend, so it doesn't really matter in that case. But yeah, Zemo didn't get much of an upgrade, so there isn't much to discuss about him. He's a little bit tankier, he does a little bit more damage, but it's really about that leadership and why you're purchasing him. Next up, we've got Winter Soldier, not Captain America, Falcon. And Winter Soldier, in my opinion, probably belongs at the top of God Light. Now, that might be saying a lot for some people. It might not be saying a lot for other people. The thing is, the speed class, despite getting a brand new, basically getting two brand new tier 3s in Captain America, Falcon, and a brand new uniform for Winter Soldier that kind of makes him a new tier 3, they're still pretty weak. The speed class is still pretty weak, and characters like Cull Obsidian really made the combat class stronger. Luke Cage, Valkyrie. We haven't seen those types of characters yet for the speed class, at least not as much as we've seen it for the combat class. And then we know blasted combat is in like another space. But Winter Soldier's a lot better now. He's actually much better, to the point where I'm actually going to take off the hard to play, and I'm going to take off the dies easily tags. He no longer dies easily. He's actually pretty tanky for someone who doesn't have a heal, and he is much easier to play. The 5 cancel 4, delayed cancel 3, or the 3 delayed cancel 5. No, the 3 cancel 5, delayed cancel 4. Wow, I finally got it. The 3 cancel 5, delayed cancel 4 proc is very simple to use, and you can just pop it every single time. You don't have to wait around. You don't have to kite. He's got a long iframe on 1. Much better character. Definitely needs his tier 3 to shine with the stat bump and the extra skill, but he definitely can compete with the characters here, and he may be a little bit worse than them for PvE content below World Boss Legend. But then when you get to the upper echelon content, he is going to outshine a lot of the characters down here that he would otherwise directly compete with as a speed tier 3, and especially as a speed tier 3 hero. And then that leaves Captain America, Falcon. And I gotta say, Sam Wilson got an insane rework. It's so good. And he just crushes PvE content at an extremely high level. I can easily completely solo a stage 20, 25 Mephisto or Null with him. He crushes both bosses almost equally. He's a very rare and very strong character, and he's not bad for PvP either, right? So who does that sound like to you in the speed class? It sounds like Rogue. And to be honest with you, the only thing that Rogue does better than Falcon is that she has a little bit more value for ABX. And I will highlight that here by putting Captain America Falcon let's say Cap America Falcon. I won't make it too long. But anywho, here, Captain America Falcon is just a little bit behind Rogue. He may actually be better than Rogue for World Boss Legend and endgame content. His 4 cancel 3, cancel 5 combo, and his really high DPS ult is just crazy. Really smooth rotation again. A lot of characters recently have been coming out with very smooth rotations. His tracking on his skills is really good, so you don't have to worry about the boss running away and you can't track them. And then he's got that crazy passive where as soon as he dodges, he gets 120% of his health healed over 4 seconds. He gets a 30% heal for 4 seconds, and he gets a debuff immunity. So you can basically laugh at the tornadoes in World Boss content, and you know, laugh at the poison clouds that get, not the poison meteorites that come down, all that stuff. He just shrugs that off. He shrugs off the time control thing. He's just amazing. The only thing I would say that Rogue beats him in, or where she gets a little bit more value, is in the fact that Rogue has ABX value. If you don't have Luna or you don't want to build Luna, Rogue can get you 7-8 million on any of the days where you need to use a speed type or a speed female. Falcon, Captain America Falcon doesn't do that, and obviously can't do that for speed female. So, surprise. So yeah, but it's very close. I would say very close. It's either Captain America Falcon or it's Rogue for the best speed type in the game, and I have no doubt about that. For overall content, they are both complete winners, and you cannot go wrong with either one of them, which is dope. It's really nice to see the speed class being sort of the budget class, because if you look at the top of the other classes, right, Cull Obsidian is a native tier 2 transcended character, which is expensive, and Apocalypse is a 1600 CCF mutant tier 3. Ouch. Mephisto is a native tier 3. Null is a native tier 3. Supergiant is like Cull Obsidian. Moonstone is a 6600 deluxe pack character, right? So it's actually so expensive in the other classes. It's really nice to see speed being the most free-to-play friendly class by far, in my opinion. And that brings us to the end of the free-to-play experience for these updates. No, I'm just kidding, but yes and no, because now, now what we're going to cover is the other half of the update, which is what we just got a few days ago, or about a week ago. Blue Marvel, Spectrum, America Chavez, Quasar, Captain Marvel, all of these characters, and Black Panther, excuse me. All of these characters and, you know, where they are on the tier list now. So starting us off with Black Panther, probably the character that got the most controversial and sort of mixed feedback possible. Honestly, it's with a heavy heart that I sort of classify combat characters now and then. Cull Obsidian was a breath of fresh air, but otherwise, we've had a lot of so combat types, and, you know, it's really just hasn't been the best time for combat types in general. So yeah, Black Panther does some things well, but honestly does not push the meta whatsoever. So I think a pretty fair position for him in the meta tier list is right here. He's a little bit better than Venom, a little bit better than Carnage, but he's going to fall short of Maker. He's going to fall short of the overall value of Valkyrie. And because he's really not pushing any one piece of content, he's going to get beat out value-wise by someone like Valkyrie, who is the best or second best. I think she's the best combat female for ABX, and then she brings tremendous value to your roster for Dispatch, for World Boss Ultimate, World Boss Legend, like tons of content. So that really can't compete with another sort of dime a dozen combat type. We were really hoping for Black Panther to do something unique, do something out of the box that really sets him apart from other combat types. And let's be honest, it's difficult in a game that has over 240 characters for any one character to be out of the box, right? You can only go out of the box so many times before you start to look like every other out of the box character. But yeah, I think Black Panther deserved more. I'm still, you know, fingers crossed that he will get more. But right now, that's really as best as I can put him. America Chavez, similarly, doesn't really do anything, you know, crazy. She really doesn't push the needle at all. So I'm actually going to put her in mid-utility right under Red She-Hulk. And she's a very good example of Red She-Hulk type of character, because you're mostly just going to be getting her and building her up and maxing her out for her leadership. Her leadership did get a bump up from 24% all attack to 30% all attack with a little bit of dodge, I believe. But yeah, it's, you know, it's mostly for DRX, World Boss Legend type content. Maybe somewhere along the road or down the line, you're going to need more combat females. And she's one of the few that has a really good leadership, right? It's very rare that female characters, especially combat and speed, have good strong leadership. So that is something to highlight, but unfortunately, from what I've seen, the rest of her kit just doesn't put her anywhere above what is honestly still a pretty average combat class, and she doesn't have any support buffs to speak of. So yeah, it would have been better if she was like an ultimates type character, a la Thing is for Fantastic Four, or Jessica Jones is for Defenders. But unfortunately, yeah, again, they didn't really want to be too creative with America Chavez, so we're left with a character that's just middling. Then we have the Universal characters. We're going to leave Spectrum to the end because she's the new character. For the Universals, we're actually just going to start with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, in my opinion, got a really good buff. It really addressed, without just giving her a heal, the buff that she got, besides changing her to a villain, it really addressed the biggest issues with Captain Marvel, which was that she wasn't tanky, she had no survivability, so they gave her iframes, they gave her tons of damage reduction, and then she had a really annoying, wonky rotation. Just a much better rotation now, much cleaner, much more simple, much more every 7 seconds type of cycle of skills. So in my opinion, she loses both of the tags that she had. I believe that she's still going to need to be tier 3 because I haven't really seen any evidence that she doesn't need to be tier 3 to do well, but I do think that she deserves a big bump. So I'm actually going to raise her, and it's a little bit complicated because her value, you know, it's half PvP, half PvE, but PvP value doesn't have as much value in this game as PvE stuff does. So I would say she's squarely between Loki and Thor as one of the best, you know, godlike universals. She's not quite here with these characters up at the top here, especially because she's still not going to be super outstanding with an obelisk, so she's still kind of rage leaning, which hurts her overall flexibility as a build character. But yeah, she may actually move above Thor. I think she could take over the spot here. I'm being a bit conservative with her for now because I haven't fully tested her in PvP, but I think this is a fair position for a character who has definitely come a long way. Speaking of a character that's come a long way, Blue Marvel, although I don't think he really went as far as people hoped, his PvP value doesn't seem to be as, you know, Sentry replacing as we thought. He's a very good character. He's just sort of the jack of all trades, master of none type of thing, where he's got a really easy rotation. He's super tanky, so easy to play, super survivability, decent damage, but the tier 2 to tier 3 bump is just not there. It's not there. Honestly, I would say he's a great tier 2 character, and when you compare him to tier 2 characters, he competes. But then when he gets to tier 3, to be competing with even Captain America Falcon and Rogue and these types of characters, he just doesn't keep up. He can't keep up with Sharon Rogers. Their damage is just through the roof, and survivability only gets you so far in this game. You need to have the damage to back it up, otherwise you're going to run out of time. So unfortunately for me, Blue Marvel does lose some points. He actually drops down quite a few spots here. He's actually, it's a little bit complicated, but he's going to go where basically Medusa was, and I'll explain why he's here and not a little bit higher, because I actually think Quasar is better than Blue Marvel. So I'm actually going to put Quasar here. We can talk about Quasar next year, but yeah, the thing with Quasar is, even though she's a premium character, I do believe that she has a very easy rotation. She's got accumulation, she's got a heal, she's got an HP shield, she has an awakening skill, which is important. She has tons of self buffs, so she's easy to build. I honestly think that she's a solid option, a solid pick, and she definitely deserves to be highlighted for that. I think some players are going to be, you know, turned off by the fact that she's a premium character, and she's kind of like a forgotten premium character, like Ironheart. You're like, oh, I forgot Ironheart was a premium character. Like, why would I build them? Fair enough. She came out in 2017, did absolutely nothing until now. But now, she's quick. She's very quick. She did Thanos stage 99 for me in under 100 seconds. You got to have a pretty big hit for that. And like I said, she's surprisingly tanky. Guaranteed dodge, heal, and she has an HP shield when she gets hit, which also gives her debuff immunity. So she has sort of the total package to just be a very solid standalone DPS character. Is she going to knock your socks off? No, that's why she's not a true god. Is she going to be best in slot for any one game mode? No, that's why she's still going to fall short of characters like Thor and Loki. Loki for ABX, Thor for other content. But yeah, I do think that, you know, she's better than Medusa, despite the buffs that Medusa has. If you just compare them 1 versus 1, you know, and you equalize the buffs, you equalize the leadership at least. she actually has, you know, a pretty impressive resume. Last but not least for this mid-month tier list for the update, we have Spectrum. Spectrum is pretty interesting, but for now, I'm going to be a little bit conservative with where I rank her. This godlike category is getting a little bit heavy. We're going to have to move some characters down and make way. I think she's essentially a better Spider-Woman, and, you know, better than Enchantress. So I think you know, she deserves to be there. She may actually be a little bit better than Star-Lord. I honestly was not impressed with her World Boss Legend gameplay when I played her. Her damage was not that good, but I think at tier 2, she blows Star-Lord out of the water. She just crushes him. She's got a competitive leadership. You could argue that her leadership is better or as good as Star-Lord's because it applies to all allies, not just blast types, and it gives 36% ignore dodge, which might make up for the 20% energy attack that you're losing. But and she has value in PvP, whereas Star-Lord doesn't. So you know what? Yeah, I would say that. So now that you look at it, she's just a little bit worse than Jean Grey, which actually means she's pretty dang good. Yeah. So it's a weird situation for Spectrum. She's quite good, but she's not really going to compete for you as a stand. Like, she's not going to carry you as a standalone character, but her overall value in the game is quite high. But then you also have a very saturated blast class that kind of inflates her value just because she's right next to Jean Grey. You know, it's just because there's so many good blast types pushing Jean Grey and pushing Magneto and Iron Man and those characters down. So sort of keep that in mind when you're assessing my assessment. But yeah, this is where I think the characters go. So it's pretty cool if you take a sort of retrospective. We do have one new True God. We have 3, 4, 5, basically 5 new God Lights because Captain Marvel was already there. And then unfortunately, we still have 2 in the mid utility. But as you can see, the other areas, you know, solid unit, Shadowland, and support only, this is getting smaller and smaller. And the needs rework tab as well is also getting smaller and smaller. We actually took 3 characters out of the needs rework tab with this update. We took Captain America Falcon, we took America Chavez, and we took someone else. So it's really good to see the majority of characters moving in this direction to the left, but we may need to shake things up here because we have too many characters occupying the same tab, and it starts to be a little bit confusing in value, like comparing Valkyrie to Hulk and Namor and Iron Fist, or Doctor Strange to Spider-Woman, and so on and so forth. So hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the 7.2.5 tier list. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know about the new background, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.